officer. Oh, Uncle, you give direction. Sometimes you don't even play the lead role.
Yes.
Or supervisors. You sit back. You assign rules, responsibilities. Or not to a car at the or faka no for crew who say ha, cleaning her.
Car no so government na fuel say be ya ubetumi di aye adwuma.
It's a pure incompetence. And omunyo madin some be adwuma.
David.
And that's why we are talking about these things. Where Omaya Utima, almost half of your annual budget goes into waste management. Almost half of your annual budget. I call district assemblies. Ubi so almost scanner the empire and money I say the waste management. It's you who say and boyaka and my internet developer. I didn't know I stop. Me, I don't see a reason here. What baby shop? What on Niema? What be your boss? We are no what no. Other is tax. I mean, this is a stupidity at the highest apogee.
Now, pavements to the wolf for say.
I know be answered if you know the DVR, no be showing na gukwemu. So no suit your tax. You see. I was a your institutions near you.
Yes.
Ube be a shop on a shop. There was a what bin case to anymore. Because one hour generating waste. Generating waste anywhere. I was a while to waste.
Now, we cry the mutia, mood the gum babe fako. It's other now on paving so on fang. No more mammas.
Because Nipana or Ton only shop crumble. And upon a cause a box they grow. To ya, no Jan Hoko. And he encourages animal in a car market as a central market. You knew ya, you maintain law and order. It's a show.
Footbridge.
I didn't think also look at it.
Yanamso.
Crobia, who are Kuruma, so who's a Kurumu far. First, I did when Indica and Bosso a runabout. Said yes. Because Credia, Omidio Mohuni. Christmas Emo. Hey, Kumasa for Nina day, you run about yes. The vantage points first, Upia when you can bosso. Who rakajetia first, I dare when you can bosso a yura. Because runabout near that one, a honey say, honey deposit waste. Runabout now, a honey deposit waste. Could I wouldn't at the time we own a airport runabout and then in tree. A block a cause of traffic or move a senior could airport runabout and then she be 20. Let me feel me take me banaze and then she neighbor na omato omabuno mu yo machiana yin na yidila
na se ho na no mo ye no doctor aboache dan kwa ho no e ho ano mo ye na ntwe nti ho ano mo de mbakwa didi ba wo kan na ayese yesi an sen bi wo ho a ma mo nyi na ntwe ni mfiri kurom ba bia mo de na ntwe ni da no eye mo ye nyamwa wo ho nipa ne mwa na mom
he odu so amesisi ya enantwie mfi Islamic school ho
so mo ye bi wo ho
enantwie age ho nyina
ai wan so mo ye wo de mbakwa didi wo kwan nim
ba bia
mo nyi o mo mfiri kurom
he odu so ametetelesta PRWC omo aye ho kama Assemblies of God omo gu ho nyina ye ho kama oba na ide na ntwa bi go na na ne gu ho nyina mo so ko
obi anka he
nipa ni fie o ana onya na ntwie no ti nwura bi akrompo onya nti anopa no opio mo no de won be gu nso
Jubilee Park achi hwai lodge for dan so omo ye na ntwie o nti na ntwie no ba kwa didi e wan obaba be didi kurom
and sometimes area refer ya re bebre so ye fafi mu aho
no kre na wa nipa wo ne aboa dade e wo nyare na ba de
ya re bebre no emoa no omo ho ne wo and then ntwe nipa difference bi animu
no was akana kura wo chemu bo mo na koda ba bi na nipa da ba we de one mo na da sore wa aboa
na ntwe nyem bosome nko nipa nyem bosome nko ye ndro bebre ho ne ye de try no endi na zoo yeah, na sometimes for ekase zoo ye nyimfi kuzu mfa so bia so am say you have not taken time to learn about the zoo, no the scientific role they play. Oh yeah. Ye ndro medical school ye chere nkola na de practical se ma bi o ha ezu ho no mbeye no oh but say the yama yekro no afia ye na niema e koso no it is so terrible and sometimes you question whether there are leadership here.
My main tia kwesi we are on reporting and afi I was yenwie na afi yenko na
said the me be mekan ono de na meka bi aka ho se oko department agencies ahodo na se aban bia ba sankofo wi ana ya na sometimes omtama aban problem your environmental officer a wo krum ha wasede ne se obe make sure se ahonodie pa ebekoso said yani ebi before city no me no adu baba ya na areho yemu dodo na koyenkofo bia tambia no gise wo hyeyen ne yatimi aye enema a ewose ese se wan hyeyen ne a na wo gyaye pema ne a yebekoso aye enema atisisi ye nanka enyanwa se pavement de obi ko fufu so enyanwa Osempakani nanso
environmental officers na mu
enam ekrum ha every month omo agipe edu baabi a na omatansion wo so pa baabi a ema na no nduane ye from so omumla na omunya ska ehọ na ya na omahode ho na emum oba na oye aduane na wafre no no wonfra ni kura nkọhwe baabi a oye aduane ma enipadi sana etiatie department so yemfa baabi bibi di sensuo obiti baabi wo brewo nsuo sa nsuo ma ye wia na ye de sobo ne nyina na ye de akobo aban nanso ye wosan nkọfo na ye twi omoka wo se nkomo ye de ese sebe ya ye ne yetimamu fo because ugya timamu ni so onye de opede a Osempakani de ye ehuni saa na ye bekoso ye behu enti se ye kan sem bi so se ya etan se nipa dodo na agigi nsem se ya na ye de koso ya ban ne ntine ye nkan kire de mayor se ensema hodo bi se ya ye keka no minim se Abusua FM ano na mpanimfo nyina tie o make sure se obama nani akọ ne mpanimfo a wo agencies so mo no offices ne sanse me anoda me ne akokọ na kokro ye fa Osempakani se oduru kageti a sabi efi ho ho no emura ewo ho no onka se eho ne kumasi kropon enti ye srempanimfo se omo tie ni a omo nhwe na ahunidie pa enkoso sebe ya apomuden so ebetimi akoso yes
Isaac Obika
onim sa no pay krata bi fi Justin Cody officer ba no pay
General Secretary
now almost say omba be pam professor from Boatin the FMPP
omo pam professor from Boatin
omba be pam no and I say the New Patriotic Party has initiated process to expel former party member and the senior figure, Professor Frimpong Boatin, following comments he made on Channel 1 TV. On the Oko interview, on the average interview, and saying Enra, and I said the current MPP leadership, no, omo fake, near mana omo no, and you're rare. Kwaya party na baby obudi party na ekono party na yare party na hia yare sa na wa cheche nse bebremu e na anyo mode said the any anti party behavior it no ombeton sa afre na bu answer communication about say apamo free party be fi na ko onka ye hu be party member bi because we say na okay kana ebukuru. So that's another.
Apart from some more permanent switching be anyhow.
That's a permanent associate propose what to do me.
I say be on bet to me abon a car. On bet to me a cat. Say as some no kind say to your mumra. To your best suspended. Omde bidin. Maybe I suspended 1 week. Sambe to Yasika say. There be and when you in track bomb political party in the fine. So I say you're very honest. Maybe our membership. You withdraw and idea you use a finding member between when you find the member you were free said a hotel club they say baby or more corono now so you know not say automatically we're free party anymore
you see the omoye no made the who is MPP they are not ready for power and they are not ready to look at say peer review. Peer review. Because baby I'm in no opposition. This is the right time of be at me cannabis source. Number where the problems are. After that, no. Maybe I'm aware of my elections. I was say there reconciliation. Yeah, internal elections. Obi o problem bia fa o de bra ya titilibre yenko we mu na so ye ni we mu nkasa na nipa ne kasa mo say the oil ne anti party behavior anti e be expel no eti e be na obi aka ne buso asem ade no so ya ade a nsem a okay emu de he na enye lokore baro e pan nti ese na manenka asem a okay obi anim say ye lokore my elections are more how some national executives conduct your money. A year when you support one candidate. Name a cosuna, and also your anti-party behavior. The Omoyan, because any activity obey in a political party, a division, ever a anti-party behavior because as a cool. But
some say my bida my incrofo the still on power. Until more president.
Okay, more. So sometimes when you have a genuine cause, you can take reasonable action. Omo muji omodino. Kwabra Japan po afoko.
Samekra.
Some are from you back to the party. Omo back to the party.
Am from.
Omo kasa asemi. And your one soon a dink almost say can say yan trichu mu yan form one for kwampaso akufuado efa so edj party ni bo ne bo enne omubo akufuado so bo no enye sa ansem na no mujira so de bo no so bo se sa na mo ye bo an ma ni tuye no eno enem ede party e be wiwi ne enye nkomo mu dia no so now what are they talking about so muyi ye no feedback then eka unya power and I'm not sure says any per 5 or 6 no yeah the 5 or 6 votes no they winning elections no winning
more than that
it can carry uyi nipa 100 clear free ma menye sure says ene be ma wa winning Ghana election yeah the 10,000 20,000 50,000 they winning it will permit 1,000 people cry from party. I'm not sure what the 1,000 be winning elections. So what I say, but if Nipana we don't know, so a reasonable explanation, nobody will fight you. I said this for me. Obu say you know film the name or no. No one should put in line, but so be cannot create it. Now say, some now can uji to the meba say.
Isaac Bediako no na ansana no John Bentel or say powerful show which I went so I Daniel Coleman or so or Kenya say number 2 Kenya say number 2 and our share a free or say Mahama a total failure when so I Opoku Justice or no so was a good morning which Isaac Ayaba and so the Isaac Ayaba or Chiaye na or say John Dramani Mahama son kokra wa Ghana man yosemu na obo adwuma hyehye ne ma se be ya MPP sinking MPP omo ebekọ forma na omo party na ntumi emma biem no achia MC a wo asokọ amokamel wo se ochia na no pai na KM amokamel ochia no anopai akwese ma minti o na afei me sanko Isaac so
Osempakani mirase mame enka kakra emfa NPP de no afei memra we na menu eka NPP me so people sam say NPP as a party say omaye ready for 2028 say omoba power me imagine me de me hunu say that be na onim ye be Prof Rempon Afrim na omaye abronya Afrim because and some ahodoa abronye etna ono ni TV station eka edifa woma nkasa NPP mpanimfo a epretu mi ni bi ho meni asawuti a eyensema ede enkichemu enyimu ana eba na meno NPP no wo problem bi efire soro ebesi fom meni asawko ba bia meme wo se ya NPP emu achese tu NPP ananka omoto aba omutiminya 65,000 and omoto aba omunya 31,000 enipa over 18,000 NPP for no kodi independent achi ni nyina ye kwan a ye makwan ema nipa nkyere ya adwen o ka asem na se eni mpanimfo bi adwene enyepe se asem no ye ne krese tesen na ye teteo nti enam sane ma we ama enipa ne bebre ho a okay se party there me bedom na mato aba na party na ba power na oyi me free ma meko ba bia maso ba dwume eno nti ene se oba me krom se ya NDC ye baka se akono wo ho papa
okrom ne he
asante be kwai because for the first time 2024 election NDC enya almost 12,000 obla nanka ye to aba nanka omanya ye 4,000 5,000 dientia eye enyimu ene ma ye makwan ma nipa nkyere adwen se panyi bi no adwene enye pa ekwan e befa so e betete wa ma wa nkasa wa free party ni mu no sana ekoso ntimi for now de omu ye nyina ye koyi kandifo efom ne nye kandini na amumu koyi no na modena ko national election efom ho na nkasa grounds nye ntimi so de mini akan no NPP as a party for now so compare way back Europe 4 pence now compare NA NPP NPP forward ma bebreye say if indeed say person omba power come 2028 election omo adwuma bebreye but for now do mo ye de enya de beboa omo
okay ni Ajay Kraku was greetings from Tema New Town ono so no de frɛ a wɔde ba o say nipa 5 na agina sɛ MPP into abama omo nyina deserve ye enkrofo mbetumi abuman but Dr. Mahmoud Baumia stand it tall no and I was a delegate in a Tumana Sabaya 2028 obetumi abaji tumi no na wahye Ghana ye na Ghana aye krabehwe golden boy anas mamponten eno de free ochia ye nyina was John Dramani Mahama adwuma pa woye aboa oman no amasikasem nhihye bia ekoso na nkanya John Dramani Mahama nka Ghana bese Venezuela afenso was Ken Oforiata na nimi ti se akola baby face nanso onhu ne nti a enema ahodo a ekoso a papa yi amafi ma na ewo ho no yenka ema emfri ho ochia
onti me mafiu obera mafiu se yesi ache nti omonti asiesa
ase ache na on play this here for no kono
omunu wi a na de wa kokrom
ba na me no amete ambassador Victor Smith yamcheme say BI abam eshinum ti akofe dadan sena ne visa wa wokromo no
they are investigating his offshore activities.
Yes I don't know
money transactions, businesses and all those things. And yeah, just say visa no it goes beyond the etikromo ne lawyers na propaganda for
sir
time bi no mo de bia betum na attention in alcohol na the rare issues no. People who knew what was going on, no money, but no matter that no more no more show.
Tinana Frank Davis more propaganda
no more. Now I apply stay now when you nipa ye revoke you 1 year.
Visa
June.
Also free kronim.
E ka cho say by June leave the country. Now to me I say my reapply. Who reapply when ebia wo file petition. The way you say you revoke here, ebia you file petition. Reapply application there I expire and I will apply, reapply. And on the no outside. But as if we chronoma film. No, I file a petition. But the lawyers not a no more be able to the actual issue Mangasano, then know the baby. That's not what is happening there. It's propaganda and the lawyers, no. And I heard one man saying, say, the lawyers in the name misleading. Sunday be mocha. But the actual issue Nangasana, not no more cano. But you see, investigators, the AG ne Abamu Painfo no munim di omoye no. Almost ye di. And omo for your tower coffee lawyers be na almost meanwhile behind the scene no almost nim di omoye. Processes are hold on omo initiate. And on Asha say asona na say omo ne. There's always correspondence between the Ghanaian government and the American government.
Yeah.
Investigations na kroma na omoye. Ne kase ni gina. Abontenso it's a FBF one yes adwuma no movie anom the report na magana aban na Ghana aban so dia kan de ho na so mo de ne ba na say uye we ni wo Ghana ha ye tracking ye ko hu we ni e America
anu atama metie Frank Davis a o kase Attorney General and Minister of Justice and some no kan nya no kure say no ne foreign American investigators be another investigation am say papa it seems as o kododo ne amoye no mu pia papa ne into trouble obi a wono ye Attorney General of a country now wono kan sem na wo pese o chese wo information sen na
o se ada na visa no ka say ye revoke no omo me ka say ye revoke na visa expire
because so share Swadroni no friends abutrika it was between Ghana government and Ghanaian government and America counterpart and Yoko handing over to Omo. Now bad in some me information done Attorney General's office. It's it seems that Omo pia papa na dodo. Omo pia no.
Almost a tree omoka and what you man omo ye.
Okay.
It's a do be another tree or master.
I was in a second when my mentio.
Okay. Osempakani mame enhwe de pieko akrata na memfa emra de mekano enei aban no amatrax de ama please say omomfa maguma se be ya bambosem ebetimi akoso menua yemo abana baso pa me ya na bambosem ehia me pa sanse me first motorbike ya metoye me teswa na nkofo ko ire me omoje ya ebe sinema hu bio ansana metimi anya foforo nti se aban biba na se oboa se bambo se betimi agina so me na se obedi adanse a nansan police adwuma no discipline abama ankasa ana omadwuma ne sa akosoro so ahwa se social media so opa ho asem eye ade ba akutaw any 2 days na police for ensaka nti enei awrehemu a na Ghana for awo police mu no sign abapa nti se aban no ama track se be ya ombetimi ede ya adwuma yemo aban na baso se be ya oboma bambosem atimi akoso mame emmo ena no pemi bo finance minister yera atoforcing abaso pa ene topic ne de edika na me ka ho asem no adia
Davi topic ne de we am fans wo
okay
omo transe a omo be pensim be some Isaac
yes
yeah we are na say
no I think say one baby koso and I'm so happy and every parent should be proud of what is going on within our senior high schools. Also there was a time ago omo the research be by say anemia any malnutrition a malnutrition so anemia senior high schools especially among the young man more menstrual age because they share a lot of blood no balanced diet now no and into ma pomu densem no
omomoja
aswat ena ema omunyini no so enkoye World Food Program at the initiative be by emo na yɛde ma nkwalaa no ɔmo yɛ sɛ ɛne aban no nyae sɛ ɔfidi ɔmo with perfume rice polish rice white na yɛma ɔmo ni fortified rice no na ɛno krampo no ɔmo san koraa de some vitamins ɛka ho in the process no sɛdeɛ ɛbɛyɛ a ɔmo di a ɔmo bɛnya ahoɔden as we speak now aban ahyɛ ase rolling out na ɔnim one funny thing nkwalaa no hu sɛ ɛmo no ɛyɛ yellowish ɔmo sɛ ɔmo ndi beginning no na ɔmo sɛ ɔmo ndi because yɛn nsɔ ho mmoro so ɛma ne yɛ ɔmo sɛ deɛ ɔmo yɛ ne yɛ polish perfume rice hwehwehwehwam those ɛna ɔmo di eti deɛ na ahoɔden no yɛ fortified rice na ahoɔden no wɔ mu no ɔmo nyɛ used to but through sensitization na nkwalaa na nkata abɛte aseɛ sɛ aduane no wei na ɛyɛ papa no wei na ɛbɛboa yɛn no as we speak now ɔmo a embrace yɛn no amena meyɛ ayi kakra research kakra about aduane no the acceptance any how a nkwalaa na pɔmudin esiko mekɔ ɛgye so sectec
okay
ɛkɔ hɔ a students na nkasa testify say ɛyɛ ade a aduane no yɛ even though na flavor no yɛ good but na color no ɛna na ɔmo hu ya na ɔmo ani nye ho but mpanyinfo akyekye ma ɔmo nso di edi no ɔmo ahunu sɛ ɛboa ɔmo mpɔmuden
okay
it is say ɔmo accept ɔmo advocate sɛ aban no spreading it out na ɔmo ma other schools no nso ɛni bi na ɛbɛyɛ yie koraa efiefie mu koraa no awofoɔ no ntɔ no mo fa nya aduane wo fie because enye too polish ye nyi ho ahoɔden no na ɛwɔ akyi ne nyinaa mfiri ho ɛna vitamins kora wo ma yɛhyɛ da specialize no so that be bua apomuden and see these are some of the reforms in the feeding process ɛkɔ so schools because me say krom some of the machines grabber anka schools na ebetimi akoto omo ba
okay no ma be treating
omo abeso omo de no omo aso ho se de omo pe no vitamins a wose de ka ho na de aka ho na omo a edi so de be boa nkwala na pom de because who school ma you balance diet and they won't be nya say de ope but you say gra no omo the vegetables and so e ka omo de die no so de be ya omo timi a balance nkwala no diet no ye e de am omo I think that one is also a good thing yeah, Mumpa is a buy no a bit me as sustaining because of my pilot projects they started with 6 regions and over pilot projects now they are done until more as a nationwide rollout so that all the schools know or mine private government schools senior high schools senior basic schools or more ebedisa rice so that so for me I think it's one of the good things Abano Eyo.
Okay. Isaac Bediakon, a senior journalist with EIB or no an outing in Cassisiano. What Yakosia, formerly of Des FM. They say, or Jenny, our Hano Motu or no song.
Nkomo bi PF fikesim menhia ya apatrapa hemanos yetu
apatrapa hema
yes
ya jano kwan
je say omukọ hwehwe mu no na ye say ono kra wonye de hye eti akonya no to so ati esi abase yeyine na mu mpaboa ye de ohema foforo eba bisi esi de omni say wa wo tie akonya so akonya na nya ode no susu na hunewuna kromfo woto nye a asa wa hye to a ye wuru ntreja anya hwe obi nim omoyi omani okwa ya kasa bebebe na yekobo nkura ene enye obi na di ayi benzen
obi na kumanchu wasi
akwa ano niti
aje
iti odi akonya nya odi ene hu mobo na udi bia kana so din udi dia omo ho no mu bi ni na yesa wo tata omo ji omo nsa ase a ombe kantam kase aguso ehwe mu so na ebo so de antankase so de favor nim
Meda say Isaac Bediakon Ediano no. Meba na mpanimfo atena se Dr. Kesken Owusupoku communication team member New Patriotic Party. Kwadwo Asante lecturer Amstec. Ono nso abetena se Samuel Supremo Mensa. Ono nso communication team member National Democratic Congress. Ombetena se na afei yede nsemo ahodo egu ono de abrɛw na yɛwerɛwerɛ mu ɛde ama wo
Nezuro sandina simazizei kunamata kwa kanaka maonei kunamata kwa kanaka mazizei kunamata kwa kanaka maonei kunamata kwa kanaka Nezuro sandinasi Nezuro sandinasi mazizei kunamata kwa kanaka mazizei kunamata kwa kanaka
Anope modern jewelry and bridal accessory. And I make come for the amount. So to me, whom man be to me say yes. Anklet fata sister in Ase. Obo anklet in the dan and I Rahusam cry. Anklet be say putti be for modern age and jewelry and bridal accessories. I mean fun be modern age jewelry and bridal accessories. Say gold I would the shower saying I would the wedding ring ni bi wo ho to say we dey anya gold papa kra o senior makakra na yetum dabi ko proper gold yan fanya ring in shower nsa na nya kama this time investment ni ye bi gold mo tie ni ye wa ko to wa de da won nsa eye gold dumre mu adin a wayi waton wo de aye wa dwuma bibi e koso say gold say diamond fa ko down wo no mo na bibia anya kama emfa ma wo bibia de gold ye bia yo mo dwuma di a wo mu di a enkrofo age o matum papa enkwa me emfa chenchena ena ne wa sokwa aha Bantama High Street Assembly make a show on about modern age jewelry and bridal accessories. Over whom a child quine a war. Bantama him feeling and any dim share any moon. 0506 706681 0506 706681 numbers in the amount. Amuzu pi haba mechana me kan for the amawo anopai aye namu yare ne to ase de free ho bema odwun so na bema mu ya o ya na kawo oba sabinka ene ma nkoyi sa aye amuzu pi haba mecha ko pebina num na mo general body pain ene mrem yanka so bi atigo no atwam amuzu pi haba mecha ebe to ase de free ho amawo man ne ma hodo a mo de hyehyem ho ama wase abie amuzu pi haba mescha na me kan for the ama ko pebinom na nsisiu Dr. Amuzu Hospital no ewo Amuzu Junction ewo tafunshi ayeso ko ne mfam fidim na yare ahodo aka ne nyina wontu ase mfa ma number 0247 776743 0247 776743
Kwa
anyum no praise Yankopon wonte west ne papa me ba be chirechiro mu china why
kuna mata wakandana
achina matumbo a chirechiro mu nyina
sandinasi ezuro sandinasi mazite kuna mata wakanaka mazite kuna mata wakanaka maone kuna mata wakanaka mazite kuna mata wakanaka nezuro sandinasi nezuro kuna mata wakanaka
Abusua no pensama ye ba dwendwen ho 1.5 billion dollars
kuna mata wakanaka kuna mata
ana aban chira energy sector ke da ho no watua
kuna mata wakanaka kuna mata
we na MPP for ne chira se nye ne we ne edikan ne ye ba yetua aka ne bi
sandinya
aka de na wo si etua amatua ma ya de
sandinya kuna mata wakanaka
John Dramani mama 1 year ye be hwe na afi ya hwe ne ma manifesto promises o ye ni nyina ye bisa se identity interchange ana overpassa ya ye wo kumase nipa empesofa na mom so betwa kwan nim no attack junction abrante bi o se wo fra kwan ne wa utwa ma ye short ba konso ba ya wo se da bi ya no nam so anani subiri no no so ya de na ye be dwendwen o keno foriata according to Ghana embassy United States of America. Yes, FBI for ensa asonimu. Kano foriata mijidi yese samro bisano say revoke me visa. Ana nka me ko ya nka we nyina abai. Ampanin fire no musin konwa ato adwen anopai o ma ye krado a enche ye kom so Keskin Usupoku o ye MPP communication team member Samson Samuel Supremo Mensa NDC communication team member ura Kwadwo Asante ye lecturer o chade o suku pomu Amstel ye mrafie ha na ye monkomo owura Kwadwo Asante wo chirade e wo suku pon mo nye nipa keto akra those days ansa na ye beka so obi ye lecturer no ene nyina na che so obi a e ba wabon ho modern ba bi o sha ase di free e na kra the experience no wo sha ase free schools and keto no arise no akwakopi obani na tisan
jam ya dum boko
efi eboko de na de me no washia na me ba na Jose Sede se me mra
embrace 2025 2026 dia de ba ni bi no
mama kwan na chi ana wadofo ne o ma o hwe mu nyina ne enkoye nim
me dia se da sronko e ma hwe dia mpo aga afi 2026 abetu ye nyina Micha Amsterdam Busiano, especially Department of IT Education. And now afi mi angasa mebusia. Ene me nam fofo me ni omo efa adwin. Ndi ncha mebusia fo nyina. Yeah. And afi ebusia tiefo. Afi etwa mu no. Omutie afi nso mi nimsanya me adom. Okoso ne edi.
Jo. Yen start in free yen social story ya fire yen wiki nyina overpass wo achina ye be kwa kopie mo so for line
Okay.
And no sha say okay UST and crofon fro so many excuses na tech junction de na ya reho sam kra ne se mesh na o mo de gikwan nim se be o mo ntumi ntwam ade be chumba ko no ma twitwa e ya reho sam and na ye kokopie mu e wo adum ne linki adum ne asafo no ya linki adum ane railways ebesi Roman Hill no ya ko ya akrofo te so ton niema omzo munya ba bi ton niema nti eso no mo betom eye problem anti ayenya ne se load ni gina so ana ekofom o se ni pa fa so ni kwan se gina so minim ne awo ka e de afa ho eye ne bresama o se ahwe na ye ka ho ase
minia medase Ghana wo hwe yemra ni sene yesi asese niema ye oniema bebre wo pepa so nanso breso sa wo se de ye adwuma na adane ma kumasi ya wo hwa yehia sa walkway overpass ni bebre kwa yehia bebre but unfortunately no kakra bi na ye wono kra no they are not making use of it Minia, this is our share Miami school, Amsterdam. One acquire your hostel near most of the opposite of the school. Yeah, I was saying young overpass and grand be fast one back your school. But Yanibi, we should the we and credit struggle part track them come hostels near there. Sometimes they umpa. And I was when I'm so quiet them ninty. Cars this is what speed no was.
I am a no problem.
Yeah, me yeah bomb say one day you be who says I be assassin. Now the one said yesterday and so no a go form for so you me ton ade. Me me what problem power was say the whole Kumasi town a market. Baby I ton
a problem.
Baby I ton ade. Now a brass say ya assemblies any or more the law enforcement agencies no sisi ano senior driver ni ye bibi kwan so a ye che no sa na was a pedestrian offend sa kwan so a was ye timi che no tag the idea hwe tag the baby esi utimi say a link perfectly between the hospital and the other side of the road yeah ofa so a ensa so wa ye gina say ko school kwa me nkroma nti no who say a perfectly at where it's supposed to be. Yeah, all fast one and sounds on easy. And so for whatever reason, they be able to no more mercy. Mercy is in the 10. Not to say, Nanny Pagina, Udruana, Idiama, highway system, the Grand and Yajuma. Udrua
highways to the also course certain speed
sadly.
If you quite a boa. And I'm educated to him, say, car bow, why wouldn't your insurance be? Insurance,
you are not supposed to pass there. What's our overpass? What's all be child crying? So now, baby, I'm okay. Sir, Yachada ye overpass. Ne honor will be a quatina as a son in Yama. Even individual crowd as first one, as ye still quine. Also, Kumasi has obeyed an anti-crew because yes, see, yet to idea, baby. It are things there. Currently, Sadia, you see, disciplined drivers were council. Sana was here disciplined pedestrians. Sir, baby, any answer offer from across no. Any answer offer from because I cried. There was a place now one for complaining by this overpass. Still, not car bonipa almost every day. I think some say this I beg this is our first of a liar. Pedestrians are almost cross of one is enough to cause a lot of jam on the road. Baby, if you say, Utimi will say, so for line they say, Minya, your problem kakra. All the you need overpass, your underpass. Yeah, I was saying, but baby, underpasses Nico D. A war over the soap, and then the panny mum,
design no more. I bet it for my Prempe College gate.
Exactly.
And I need Panamum so soon.
Exactly.
Auntie,
I dancing across the court.
Dan and I may be sir engineer, Nanapuko Ajama, a ban rose engineer, and I know Cassette. Almost no share baby at first, and any panic tram, na a Prempe College, old gate. But I don't know and to say a bit to me about bay overpass. And also, it comes with
cost.
Yes.
It is so. This year, we have so full line situation now. Artificial trafficker, a cause war, and your papa.
Drivers need to take advantage.
Oh, yeah. That's one side of the issue. The indiscipline of the commercial drivers. So on. And at the work of the MTTD, the Biambahamika. MTTD commander needs to wake up in Kumasi because a lot of traffic is caused by the MTTD. Sisi Aminia, almost that creative station.
No matter to me,
in the middle of the road.
What can almost see evidence?
Exactly.
The evidence,
evidence. We can fly drone over there. Packing
body.
And at the master to ground the cars need to cry on money. It's one more the sea or and what you say, Queen, ya chem you know, packet cars offer. And a fan canoe, and I just say, yeah, struggle to pass, which is not good. The police need to wake up. Now, say a fire and overpassing at the end. I think, say, your law enforcement. You was out to sort one year. I was say a two, and yet, but them, you bet Mama Wapra, you bet Mama, you bet Mama was fine. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. These things, the enforcement, that was a so difficult. I was on to me, and for the Nijai. Now, a man for the baby, and Nantiboko, Eukro.
Mamma Nasi, we Bob Watting, or say John Dramani Mama, economy, or the born horse for Heneno. Paper so now, who say were born home or or no Casa say, or say Docono, 7 cities, Banku, 10 cities. Yente so watch 10 cities fufu 20 cities echo we nyina ye de aguye sonso yese ne mako ye o se Dr. Mahmoud Baumia na wo chia na anopai amo awku o se oye aspiring Ashanti Regional Secretary wo chia wono nso na ye koyen anim na opani ye wie yankoyen anim na politicians no ma bana se be yon betena se no sa umbene nam sa no mtu babia okwa comes Osempakani bibi obeka wa bana time aso na na mbede na menka ube ponso am se time no so ena manka sanche ena manka supreme atisan
ovaboko
bibi ekoyi
oba de na aye na fe bibi akama
nse bibi agana kwa under 1 minute ne yanko
we share the way agana for ni age na the way and your mail kodia na se bibia da na kwan so na ye be share dwumadi na se me for opportunity ni nchia wow ye host no first na me nchia the panel members mo hiring producers ni obi oboa me Fabi Nkomo party NDC ni nchia the leader of the party who happens to be the first gentleman of the nation, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, ni two eyes your godmother preocupe Prof. Nana Jean Upukuajiman. Na minchia ye national chairman on so your godfather preocupe. Honorable Johnson Esi Edunketia. Na minchia the national executives, including the general secretary, the fantastic national organizer, no our kind na me sansu nchia me fabimba ye region. Nana Kwisi, the leader of the party, all other regional executive inclusive. Minchia me constituency for Boasi is near Dancy and Cleveland, and Minchia Sia collects SMS testers. And you be behind the way be more OTA and I say, oh, channel, for the 10 times internet or Facebook near there. I hope say by this time, no, Obiaja to say, and your mail kuyi, Ushe Christmas, the way you did now, and your mail kuyi. BBA kokama me encounter go for be o motor on point almost on the 1,005 in a bar system and I me ado me sign na me can me de manusi no oh maminka say me na as say yeah national organizer honorable ya be no a poultry farmer na obi ba no be fan kokko 150 2 days later no be for 100 na honorable bisa ne say na business ko e question o say enko ye kura o say na all the 2 days have be for who say na nipa me person me body din ba typical MPP ni am wo sa yonko fa na no so ye sa business mi cheche obi bia otie
whether as supreme mensa send this for bie our nominations na obeko Ashanti Regional Youth Organizer my endorse no take it from me. He's a fine gentleman between I hear you man. My endorse supreme moments. Kaskin.
Abishapa.
I've been coming to your dog. Now where?
Namiadum. Afisa say na yonkwa na modi ho. Na nyame atu yensem. Na Ghana nso atumpo. As a party in opposition, ye adwuma say be make sure say aban ye bibi na enkoyi a ebetene no. What you say? The end game say Ghana be tumpo. Into opposition near the Jumaya Nina Subama Ghana Etumpo and yet the Anna Empire is Ghana Ebecoso. Metia also Namatia Minion Mamma no more party, Juma party penny for mechia the former vice president I see outside Idimuse Yenshena MPP Yantu Abamano na umedi ani me Dr. Mahmoud Baumia machia minia penny Dr. Matupoku Pempe run engagements here within the region went very well. Mechia me boss Odino Kwapia any minia penny Justin from Ponkudia constituency officers no more juma within the last year. It's not been easy, but mahudi faults no your boy homode, and we believe say in the coming days no and yama ebijan nasu but now supremo and was will be better go call 158 or 100 just said then if last year so 500 within a day
type of business or
no massive to was so what the agra command campaign mimi na kajitan no confirm point baby
nipa na afi na oko business
da ni sa afi na to what to o tom point ni ali se udi agro come my anka kakra that's a some point business me kajitan that time credit me not less than 700 buy in within Christmas. It will be ton ne dia ye kwa me active
ni di pa na obi oton
obi ye ne dia so obi dey obi say point so dey ba enye news na say won top point kra na
madam say ye share menye mo adwen wo overpass wo oman mu anra ye share the region no ye kohwe kan UST no na nkomo no utiti mu a wonti ase ne nti a wo sesa nkomo ne ba say ofra ewa but to twamu famfimfini ho e short koma enu mu din komo bi nkomo no bi se onam so anu ani subiriu nti e wo so fa form obi nso se wo yi uni amagu ana paupa afo no so a wo charge dan se onam fo mu twam nti atete mesh no be fro bye bye ya ne la shwa kasa supremo
wo fa
me ene ya kwa adum de no tete so ton ade o so mu ni baabi nti beton nya baabi beko
see me masters be in human resource management and ama ebi me ni bebri wo nipa ho and so dey na amanfo ye ne say Ghana for nkwa ne yetisa entisa nipa nkasa edwuma ye din pa because I didn't know yes I dey nkra for safety reasons because at the end of the day ni who say a quine be a create accident either by car hitting a person and I say at the end of the day a person causing accident to head-on collisions. Intina ebia engineers be call I think say engineers be call say who say okay fine yenye bibi say na prevent it sadia no but you get chunk number of people at the end na be bo no omo pennies you see we have been created in a way say obi a shortcut obi a soft life into at the end na ebi be long distance and a be long trench a be bo no ankasa nipa na ankasa no becomes a problem say oh yes oh strike pe political antagonization be people na feed your more threaten no ina say but what the person is doing he knows very well say it is very very wrong and it is not starting now idea abeye yesuban since but you see sometimes a very devastating say some measure no some safety measure no is in place but at the end of the day you incur so a situation na ma yes our safety measure no, we are still incurring it. Mimi Obia
various assemblies na won so mo enforce.
I want to make say Mimi Obia. We very
stand. So mo ya another one o was.
Yes, was.
I say na vantage point for o ma ya therefore.
Because it will be a me drive na me hu the way ankofo standing na high school kwala twetwam na very very dangerous. But at the end of the day no ebe yon wofa ebe yon say akwala na we di 3 years no. Onu kra be hu say na me fosra kwan ne be want e o say me fast here. So it boils down to how we are groomed, the surroundings we find ourselves, how disciplined we are. Naturally, human beings, most of us are not disciplined. There is more room for improvement. We will be now here. Sanyo man ya nya structure say ebe magana yefe that be eye for buying bontin eye sadia. She say hu bia say ekwan ne wa say ekwan ne ye den say obi so a wo ne ma obe charge o say on charge o say e ball ho ban nko anti e wo so use na yen kan hunu say ana manfo ni refusal to use it no a criminality and say one hwe ni ye na say mra so mu a ebia na baby ebe fa no na wenu hu nti yen ye ne sa de na mboa ye na at the end of the day o man na ye chichire
supreme mensa Keskin, Dr. Keskin,
the first issue has to do with the level of indiscipline in our system. We feel many years. The Bekaya issue BC or Madina, a kind so. There's a similar thing. Obisi will track him with a car board and yeah, overpass. Or we overpass, still another track. Why? A do baby say on my moon say commercializing discipline, even yes, Capao. Now I'm telling you, you're commercializing discipline. The Benyeska. The entire for our incentive to be in discipline, let's say. Or ya ofan hoodie. Obian in Yansa Ghana. Because situation BC in Canada don't be afraid of jaywalking. Jaywalking no is a situation say what do baby and you say street lights or you guys what jumping street lights and now say what at the wrong place. Camera capture we could do for this na build our chi system no betima the advice Osempakani e wona ye ya scan when you mock you do na bill ya send bill amount we didn't ya it wo ya din you say oh you mistake ya e ka sa da wachi MMDA is na e wo sisi e you omo na this year can was him na e bia for land MMDA bi o then omo they are told to make sure that people use them. Who do take them? Say even barriers on the team, no. Why? Why? And I also saw a situation which is related to this. Zambakani, and no, you may not mean I'm so full line and you may. Misafa Tonsu interchange on you. A sumba. A serious. Street lights. Street lights. And these are things that OJ wow on the barest minimum.
Na regional coordinating castle or cry soon. I ain't found out.
Remember, my son is a message. I'm a queen. Regional minister.
No, all cry soon.
My senior man said, it's well. I said that time, sir. May I be some queen here successful?
I'm saying, because we're a young man. Came and Nimona says Zuba the Biabo born.
Because we're a young man. But so far, I said so far, for land Zuba, I said for land Quadaso.
Quadaso. We're in a chim, interchange.
Any chim. By touching this one, it's on the for land away.
But I couldn't day or say.
What I say? So these are things, sir. You're telling for me, me, I'm your president. And I'm your regional minister. Now, so MMD. And now MMDC. Now, street lights on to me, sir. Mercury. And then they do a proper than away. It's a common funds, can I burn in Amadi? No, as a citizen, no. It doesn't make sense.
Central government, no crime more.
It doesn't make sense.
Now, more fun for our bonus here problem.
I don't fun for other engineers assembly. So, never be saying you.
There's all assemblies now, artisans. First, now, cover a bit to say, plumbers, mason, a one. To say, Kakrabi or Batoma Kema Juma or the Bama contract. All artisans.
Almost way.
Yeah, assemblies in the
some person for crown before or party for my artisans. Everybody's okay. No, stop me put and making it say. And your excuse. Some people near you. And this near you. It doesn't make sense. Just street like scribing to me so. It is kind of bad about assembly. I just am general. And so for so many anything.
Yeah, no view, mamma now.
And these are things that OJ wow. As on my move for citizens or my no. What I say any and this about MP Penya about NDC. Me say me amakohine. We're young man, we're successful or be say me be regional minister. And we say oh amakohine ba with me and young man was with my
about no maintain and catch you. Supremo.
But the last post to now on free airport and on Nancy and that they work in the quiet
now enjoy.
Oh so yeah. Messer no. And TikTok yeah. It's all getting in touch with the youth.
Question.
But the substantial address why you know. The very tangible is not also you know. And these are the things as a regional minister, we expect him to sit down and work. Or making sure for the basics. Or make street lights.
Mama Nase, Dr. Keskin. Usupoku. Eddie no na. And then I said I'm a bio when you mics in so. ni obi abeka bi obi abete e wa no maame nko lecturer akwadwo asante Amsteg and ochade na mimbisa no 1.4 billion US dollars abani boosti energy sector was what tuya kana na da ho ne bi o deserve say abona baso maminti open
that's power minia I think the government and the finance ministry have done so well. The entire more ayade and baby omufiba. On say you've taken the country. There was so much debt overhang. If I anticipate seriously, say before the election, I knew that immediately after the election, whether we maintain government or change government, we could do so. So because the debts were not sustainable, we were out. Now you're free. Witness to the number of taxes that were in the system. But despite that, 2025 now is so stable. The first time in our history, we see our currency, being stabilized. Now, matching up against the dollar. A buffer in the whole year. In fact, in fact, Rollins time number 2 memo. But I'm bar throughout this fall for me who said yes that. So in the things a year say you bought a buying abaso. I will acquire our first one manage the energy sector vis-a-vis the entire economy. So yes. Despite that, we are still not out of the woods. Over the years, I think there was a good idea, say, energy stabilization fund. This energy stabilization fund, now the idea on paper was very good because a funder who created said the beya a bet to me amount wine how in case of petrol, cost electricity, assembly in Yemenina. Oh my idea. Currently, they have more than over 2 billion something in there. But the thing is, energy stabilization fund no FIR. After all of a sudden, I say BBR accounts were depleted. A whole lot of it change BBR. So, I think the government has done well. Okay. Whatever to forcing them to bring this one up, in fact, is a plus for them. Okay. Now. We are not out of the woods. Government still owes it a duty to manage the energy sector. We are missing one. For a place like electricity. Electricity cannot be sustained by just increasing tariffs. Management of ECG is key. That idea say party apparatus and still you appoint to manage. There are no performance contracts. Into waba or ya deal, wanya deal, no motivation. MYN. ECG has a long way to go. First, removing the corruption in the system. Second, Sedia omubetimia jiji wo bills. Minia, since here ECG bills a far waste. Since your softwares our system want to upa obetumia installer, you don't need to walk to somebody's premises to disconnect him. ECG staff bebre ekofie ni ade illegal connections mancro ni ade. So I'm an IT lecturer and I know what I'm talking about. And some of these things almost system on me monitor. I feel be cry. When energy prepaid meter, no. Obey my monitoring from a remote area. Obi cry illegal or particular house. You should be able to disconnect them from your premises. Sa investment in our sa buying you womb. Near making sure that people who are supposed to pay bills pay. Meaning places are. Among the bills, you're being installed meter amount 2 years, 3 years. Near far bill mother. Entino sa buy no share yes sir. Na bills are also the government agencies are also mutual electricity more mutual they don't pay. It's always nipa ka creating a capture mono then they will be increasing the bill for you. Okay. So yes, I ain't even sustaining energy sector. No. Okay. The idea of petroleum there, I think there more near masa what is it the regulation of the petroleum sector, I don't know, why. Currently, I was hoping to me the other sectors of the energy environment. Now, yet to achieve what we want, so that we don't accumulate this debt. ECG has the power to sustain by itself. I'm penny papa no manage place.
May I say, Kwajo Asante, lecturer, Amstead. Yanana say, Mamenko Keskin, Doctor, Mamenfan Titan Canon, Doctor Keskin, Ousupuku. Doc, me 5 minutes.
That's fine. I think say many I share some of the comments you made. Let's start from the point of the collection of ECG bills. Renovation be in a collection is here. Once our bra MPB buy before a year even Mahama, the ECG CEO no, the few ones and a year now our collection now about 400 million cedis a month. But they are the aggressive reforms by in the collection no. You want to increase the amount to about 1.2 billion a month. And I think that there is still more room for improvements. I say, never know the same minimum amount of ECG 8 in a month. So these are updates. And this a year IPP ne a honsem no. They make one major thing a cause is a kawi. A year, sir, take or pay agreement. The previous government of Mahama assigned it. I buy a car once I'm saying it costed not less than 500 million cedis. What I say in payments and that's buying a year. Now, some payments are buying about 1.46 billion. It's commendable, but a year before. What him said in the year 2024, and even the 2025 budget out of force and Ebekayeno, a capsule. The previous government of MPP and so it's here $1.46 billion. Just based on those ayina. Ebio, what him said, excess capacity charges in Kwa, the previous government was about $2 billion. So these are contracts I'm going to sign a indebtedness at the bro mine no. What just say? It's on one abundance says I can't go between you. Now or that's abundant who's for here. Me where it is. You sign those contracts, created those liabilities. And they say, oh, Babu just like a why are they no? Now, but now signing contracts, no due diligence, Ben. And then you know, they are the way home come over and over again, and then come over for. So they make what I say. If you what him say a year, even based on the Energy Commission on assessment, almost relocating car power from Tema to Takrade just to be close to gas now here, no, and of saving country no about $5 billion already. Scan that's I can say you use and the transported gas at this side man. The point I'm making here, now arrangement that how to pay. I buy the buyer what was to say oh you know a year. I won't say a year. What just say? But arrangement another whole about two arrangement and what was now arrangement our contracts are sign a year, a indebtedness buyer, a dick buyer, me maba betu no. My arrangement at all about was who betu bia, over who's for him. Majority of statement about Bontino, statement bit matches. Oh, the previous government created say maybe this take or pay agreement I sign you and of course all this. Now we are trying to change it moving forward. What just say? Now, Minasa can be about a doom so say. Obekaya, I better to a benny about my transition. The NDC transition team, every release a fiat say, when I buy now make purchases, yeah, okay. When I buy now I make payments, yeah, okay. Sam fuel and so between the rest of them be up. I don't know, Jina Pobeka, I 5 days, not fuel answer. 5 days in Suchemu. That's still another so light. It's Jina was telling us the truth. The point I'm making is say the politics and the facts sometimes are the boy, bra. John Zapoka says, oh, here about 90 million that took fuel. But spending in excess of 200 million, still another having about 3 months, doom to neighbor. But not spending in excess of 200 million. The point I'm making is say, I'm buying no asudi. Yea, me many light in may not say kawi, not Emma. But when I got any bians on China again, free be so. And this year, buy, we introduce 1 city on every liter of fuel. Me what? It's all just as we are and get one. Every people buy one, you need 1 liter or 1 city on every liter. But ultimately, $1.46 billion on this debt. It's what about when introduce 1 city on every liter, so the Bible debts now. No, and no, there why I difference. One friend, Chairman and issue. And that's what me even the 1 liter on fuel no car no amount to majority over the period. but so I'm already budget no it never came up. It never came up. See, Osempakani, media, I only urge them to do better. That is what Ghanaians expect. So arrangement be or never boy Ghana. Now the 2 years, now I saw this carry baby. Go ahead and do it. But it doesn't take away the effect of that pay or take agreement almost signing here. I create these liabilities. No, it's one creative problem. What's not? Then the old man may be big. Now I say and really wish them well and ask them to do better.
Okay. Dr. Keskin Osupoku Adiano Supremo Samuel Supremo Mensa. Mama into 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
And there is a saying say Akuko is such a chroma and universe. So me, I don't blame him. But before I start, let me take this off. Now I'll make an emphatic statement about street lights. I'll say, Emma can be can. Maybe I now I'll see your call. She said, "Oh, me patron me, but me confirm me from
Supremo. Me
patron me, from RCC stretch now the far reach condos. Who's na be in Hokra? But you Razuba, we making sure say be Oma Bonto Krofo from at the solar street light in Abahon
solar. Mrs. Solar.
Yes.
Yes.
That was also why
what are casking say you won't me more from Lancaster road into RCC in Kanchem say light or
light or
me say won't me more light in Kanchem say light or
na RCC
no one baby ever
you also stretch out
baby Ratri Park near actually one light in ho Ofa Park light
Ratri Park
Ofa Park light in ho stretch
say
Tobo
the new minerals commission
argument round so I was akasa wo go kwa assist no junctions are all right in no ya mobile light no ho near that no one dey balance no
ho no enye the street light wo na say you Razuba edin hihye ato akwemu asisi amike say ye obeye 200 solar bulbs are say baby how can you now no
anya question no
time
ni so anya ne awo kan ne ya ka ho asemu mesi sum wo ho enti so obi so obebo ba ye mfa
na ebi ni honom iti obi says kesken oni some moral right so be kedura na ebi ni honom ba ye ba ye you make sure oh kesken please is my time
okay go ahead
ye ba you make sure say baby ebi ni no ye bi material stretch no obi to say kesken there oni moral right
so
then
I like to
me time then we talk about the issue on board. You see, let's try to peruse the issue head on. You know, opinion lecturer candidate Keskena candidate at a point now also VFE the main topic, but let's peruse the topic head on. Then you see, you say Abanyo Otisui we're making payment of over 1.4 billion to IPPs and one when it comes to our energy sector. And so honoma payment ne buy IPPs nanka say release information. Say abaya ketuana or their mom no substantial. When was the last time I was started say to IPP or they born once about? You see what now? All these 8 years. No one make payment or feel is insignificant. Yembisa Yahu say, and this Yamanyo Kuno in the Koshe IPP for no con to release the statement say this payment that is coming is very, very significant and the key word substantial. Now, Omaya DBI never person Mobeka and Huasem. You see, with all these issues are airborne upon. Now you a certain component I Afenyo World Bank guarantee. You can say guarantee now more or less like Adiebi ebe friend say a comforter investors for no be say anye ye kura no say mo de enka sasika botany we no ye betumi akoma ko yibi mutumi bowra sika no mu disika no kan do mpe. Do you know what they were doing? No mu hu ne say
sa guarantee no interest rate a woman which is 4%. So they were trying to apply something we call fiscal strategy, forgetting the fact say at the end of the day one can say credibility as a nation in terms of fiscals, in terms of your economy, no, it is at stake. It is no man say me offer and cheche muni na ne say minua kesken oska me offer wo de o ye me offer prekope wo su oska minua kesken bomb me besia obeji me nsi hu 10% ba me offer de obom me besia obeji me nsi hu 1% pe it me makwaji me offer sika minim say e de me offer inti me disika ne kwa emfa me ho. That is what the MPP government did. Yenye ba ye no ine ye hu say sa fiscal measure no mo use no was a no you at the end of the day say ye di eno na mo de ye call a junk status can be na mo de ye call a junk status economy e magana edu mpempen so bi kwa na ye mpese ye be hwe enim se ekobo besia. All these strategies, the work strategy amo employ na ka hu bi nti ye wura to forcing etna ase no hu say this time we have to approach the issue based on credibility. And then Abu Amayetumi offset is our guarantee. Do you know the consequences or the implements when it comes to Sadiana Uranayan? Ebema investors could be confidence where you say country ne jabrane into some more BB more or Munshiki. This is the economic discussion that we should be having, not the usual rhetorics, ne propaganda.
Or say generation plans to be or why buyer. No, it's not needed. I don't know mama cano a baba. I'm buy no. I want me answer. I'm buy no. Contract no. They could have renegotiated. Almost twice. Unim say ye buy the real almost say at the end to the SSN ye boka. Ye buy ye only say renegotiating contracts na IPPs. In my young for of excesses of $300 million. Unima may catch you. We have renegotiated the contract. We have renegotiated and we have evidences here.
I'm just searching for it.
At the end of the day, you buy a tumor, you buy a say a gas cramp, the power plant in the cramp was at stake. Around the Bekan, energy minister Bekan, hey, you can't doom son of crab. Say, we see the country doom to the essence. Say, dear beer or more can ye biano and wash it. In the old better, Maka said, in a AJ tax in there, and I can make and can walk cano. Nanka Mayati, say, amount for 1 city, no. Full price they do 18 cities, no 14 cities, my bresso. Sisi Ayakasi, Uko Bell, I'm the yes standard. Petrol. 1 liter, ASA 10.99. 1 gallon times 4.5. Ebema hovering around 50 cedis. Time and I'm now a gallon of fuel. A koya could do 90 cedis and over. One can't Ghana for say you buy, you know. Sad day way in nature. You try 11. Ya scrap it taxes are at the end of the day. Mumu say the iron to me sustain, but we are doing it. Only Mrs. Hadi we see you 1.4 now. Mwankasa munipa or your senior colleague uni masemo bisa o say na ma de makoji juju ana because ade bia mo ye na eto bia ye ntiase. This is what we are talking about. Mwankasa won call for a complaint say so man ko say the ambetino position na che Keskin, this is the truth of the matter. And you say ye bibia na nkenya ofempo as patriotic as we are. Yem bo aban na baso e ya de bia IPPs na nkasa na omo friend the same sector people no and our sector players no they are commending the government say we a substantial and a very significant feature aban na ye omo beji aban na dey say he is ready to fight every anomalies when it comes to the energy sector. This is what we call aban papa. This is what we appreciate. Samuel, so at the end of the day, we opportunity. I am communication team member, National Democratic Congress. Keskin, ma some a minute. Na minti unafe.
City contracts, no, I don't think that is a true statement. That's not a true statement. We read it from Class FM Online. The then Finance Minister Nana Ekase. And I'll say, in other words, finance minister then, that was Ken Ofori-Atta. I'll say, the renegotiated agreement, according to Mr. Ofori-Atta, are expected to have savings estimated at $13.2 billion over the life of the PPA through a combination of reduced capacity and energy charges. In other words, we are saving the Ghanaian taxpayer $13.2 billion from power contracts signed by the previous administration. Okay, Ghana need to okay, said baby, I'm not saying electricity charge, electricity bills also. Okay, and then the MPP. Yes.
And
yeah.
under COVID, we all.
Within the first 2 years, no. I'm not saying electricity bills so. Osempakani is a boy to the first time we electricity. No. I didn't. So behavior.
Supreme Monye, Obi na Obi no.
Me say, Obi a otie bia so mza unja electricity bill dia. Since I'm not to apante. What I say? Yeah, we know. And these are there is well recorded. You can check on your phone while you use Android. You can find out. Google can give you the answer. What I say? Ebio Supreme Master can say these arrangements no kaya ahead of after COVID. Eduwe can I people so so withdraw or more services. And I bind them and no more chance to say. Anyway, moving forward, no, you be making these payments to you every year. So the first payment was in 2024. The amount was $1.46 billion. This month amount is around the same region. Exactly. So what makes you think say the business arrangements no and what about to and I make that say the source of Sai Kano and a contract bonnie among sign go. It doesn't mean say the money is commendable, like I said. But it is not new. So why do you sit and pretend say and a be for Nessie? The man can say you have to even do better. You have to do better in a sense. Say, yes, I can remember to arrangement. Moon toss you then go here. Now, more can some pretend say mobile might be for. If the amount I ever said is substantial, and they buy the last time, it's substantial. And then you know, as I'm becoming. Asuma make no asuma make no
correct first mama
medicine omo budget omo kan yo in 2025 mad me to say the same nyampo mad me to say ampa the previous government made the same payment. So what is the issue here?
In fact, I didn't want to digress into the details of the previous contracts and all those aspects. Because currently, I know as a debate on one can once and near me by. Now, near tell is on the sa arrangement we no. But along the line, Ghana defaulted. This is true. Ghana defaulted. So, vis-a-vis defaulted, and the financial burden about 2 years so is settling our debt. So, in fact, when we look at the energy sector for the first administration of Nanado, I think it was managed well because what happened was that Brian Dumso under Mahama first time Mahama. At the time of his exit, they were forced to establish the Energy Stabilization Fund. So that was the first time. And during Ken Ofori-Atta's time, the Stabilization Fund has accumulated. We had enough. So we were able to service the agreement up to a point. It was at the time of COVID, 2021 thereabout, when Ofori-Atta went to Parliament under emergency and withdrew the law now prevented them from touching that Energy Stabilization Fund. So that is where our woes actually started. If you say, from that time, they actually depleted the entire Energy Stabilization Fund. It's not your ability to sustain the energy sector. And hobby. And untina, ama sa the year Kasa Finance Minister no aya de no ebemu because Afenyo because the fund they had to start building the fund because you continue previous way the way of Ofori-Atta managing place now and can be crown at 1.47 no in order to meet that agreement that was there. So that is why most pundits are saying the government has done well because to be able to still restore the fund and manage the economy and be able to sustain and pay that 1.47 billion at this time, 1 year upon what assuming office, is a plus. It's a plus that we all have to really commend them.
So, bro, Mama, 1 minute now, young man.
One thing I saw, I also say, I never sat here. I can't say, the American say, in 8 years, Adia Mutum ye no, and it's hard no. Sanke commendable, at least IPPs normally are very independent. They have independent mind. And come back out. I be sure say Adena mind a great fit. I didn't know in just 1 year. Yeah, IPP phone in a so. Then we talk about ESLA. ESLA na no mudi tua energy debts ne ade no. Ye na ye de ba yo. Ono ka say creative plan. Ye na ye de ba ye. Then na MPP aban de ye. Omo de koje besia to 2035. That is the woes we are in now. Tiyanya ya ade ye novella ebe bo man no. Mo de mo ba ya ade bia ye bia na eye fund bia no. Mo de koje besia. Somebody collateralize. Now at the end of the day, yaba. Need to me make another feat. Need to me offset a very substantial and significant amount. You have nothing. You need moral courage. Biasa obey. Obeda or more. We hems of affairs. In fact, the finance minister has performed so well. Energy minister has performed so well. And in fact, all the credits in the comma His Excellency John Dramani Mahama.
Supremo,
we are on the
Mensa,
Medase.
Can I do?
The issue, and I now, Victor Ambassador Victor Smith, I may have to say FBI for picking up from ICE custody. Asamna change. They say investigating.
I believe say once it's a legal process, then he has to go through the legal process.
Okay.
What I said. Asam credible. On what is happening, we investigate the issue. We have said in Tamaklu on court the judgment about. And on the abandoning interested in Asam. And I extradition episode extradited Ken no. And they said in a Mendy cinema, I mean I say a scan of Ankoshe, a man or Muniamashi of a finance on the here. Ken never access to lawyers. And I believe say in the US they believe in law. So definitely obeying access to lawyers. So I really don't see much about Ken Asemono. If so go through the process every year, now say you say assembly a bona. He has to face the law. If so go through now say assembly a mona. And man be jano. What I say? The only issue not me as a person, not me war, was the post trainer and this are buying a buy, you know. The way I not push the mutiki here. No can say you let me the same at also. You let him not some no uniform. But I have far processes move up to so a coin biswa near anywhere in the year. What I say? For instance, Supremo way. Yes, so Supremo. There are smart also or Babemu Wafeska. Wafeska and some face can obiani. But near use bail conditions. And they are punishing. Based
on scar or more alleges. I don't know more raise conditions.
For instance, also bail conditions. If court with media, but court the ban and many was himself. Court the band at least a lawyer or Makika. But it could other state institutions like Yokoniades are more political heads and they determine bail conditioner. So Yoko boss, I have a catch of some of your work as Mama B. Oh, that's based on the NDC for you. It's a main no issue. Now me trust say me ba me a fair process. Now my friend is up on the I'll try to stay away. Reasonably. No, reasonably. What I say? That's why I can say US for issue when you with ICE. So I'm applying whatever the cases. And now quite I'm interested. Because my belief say they have systems about protecting or no or more investigating about protecting interest. Unlike what we have here. And then you bakumi and you here. What I say? Because Osha and Sama, you are to two MPP penny for be so. And I even Mammy Obia MPP penny. Obia or Dubai. All on appointments under the previous NDC government or follow through for time all through. I rise do talk. And Sama Attorney General can ye. And then someone will call court at free courts. No, sir, and some Attorney General castle or prosecuting every. But a court to dinner.
And I hear, Mammy.
What I say, say, Nipano go through processor. I think that is the due process. That is the law. And Nipanos have every right within the law to fight the law. But the creating impression me say or no use lawyers to fight extradition no. I wrong. But it's not wrong. That is the law.
Okay.
And he has every right to defend himself. At the end of the day, the right thing will be done. And man bona uncoach anymore. And man mona wafani wedi.
Na dey no ma Ken no ase usuro so be bagana.
That's why I gave you Mejusu a year what the government was doing about from using processes as means of punishments.
Okay.
What I say? Now me bad on inside the menye. Now I menya kwan kwa ko ja court ani ma defend me ho no. Now I makwa ko semu 2 months ah. What is me ba?
Me da say Dr. Kesken Owusupoku communication team member MPP or as far as be nominations no be communication director our Ashanti region. Chief Maminti o lecturer Kwadwo Asante so lecturer Amstead. Or no so Maminti o no.
I think say yenya ya jia to say about democracy. Now as a country I was saying it say both parties. Become both parties because I'm not dominant. I was say democracy goes with accountability. Say yamfa accountability na attach here. Our democracy is not sustainable. So, inti Ken Oforiatta onye ni paketwa. Why a finance minister of a nation for almost 8 years? One I would open US. F say yes say a same way A B C. One I wasn't pray now be you one. Edin kan ye mayetia say oyare or san hoyare. All along no yenim say oyare. But in US oyare ye me fa onko custody. Definitely the fact that say omo editing no chere say ne yare issue no enye ade a eno ho ene ye hwe. Mean say ne ho edi. So enti no me mesre minuam MPP for say efe say wow finance minister na ye di bibi bono say ye hia ne bibia mo am be encourage no aban a mo am mo opposition a mo fight back to government amama ta ababan mu na wo fight ababan mu na wow finance minister question on issues of finances untumi mane me ya no yes am for man nsa wonsa na next one also be the same thing one kwa na say sometimes I don't see where the whole thing is coming from. I think that it's in the interest of the MPP to make sure say the man can't and defend himself. The defense no, and never only himself. It's a defense for himself and the party. Because he ran, he stood on behalf of the remember,
judgment.
Now, it is a quiet say. I say, ye defending until now. When the system is not fair, we all saying and fight it. More you've been in government. The idea of using your Konyadi to detain people, no, both sides. I'm one of them. It's there be after all, you can fight it. You have the courts here. Somebody can go to court and prevent Yoko and other state law enforcement from doing that. Ain't no Oforiatta. Say ye so or defend that is not correct. I don't think it doesn't cast a good image on MPP at all. That view may kind of the whole party machinery. I say we give excuses for
you had your time.
I mean can details
on some fun time.
I was thinking one for the interest of himself and the party. It was a buying MPP for encouraging. The party executives should help and bring him. Near who's almost a party, almost accountable. So, finance minister, you the charges and out to work again. You're convicted. You have every right to stay here and defend yourself. It was over. Now, initially, me meeting this and I thought, yes, the visa, but it was revoked. It was revoked as far back as July. Enna and Sana, you be detained you. So why do you wait till you are detained? I didn't know what to remember. It's me insist. We should see the rule of law. So ordinary person ye bibi near the court a convicted no MPP for more time more convicted nipa bebre. more our finance minister, we're talking about millions. Come and answer. Now you are running as a fugitive, trying to do this, seek aside. I mean, just the same way. The workers said in Amtaba Group, government should pursue said in Nam. Because already you're convicted. Court are convicted. He has the right to appeal, but I was over. And I must see the effort from government in pursuing all criminals in the same manner. No more me your one. So man, yes, sir. Nasa democracy turning into non-accountable scenario. Be this car. You ever no breach na party na defend do now. You say ya. This democracy will not be sustainable. I was say omunya mind trust. Niemu say they are working and they are accountable. And yes, sir, they should count themselves out in the next 15-20 years. We can also sustain this democracy.
Madase Supremo.
Wofa. Mr. TF Bibia lecturer and or can same Bibia Minichion. The first point to make here is say US. So I want to do no moons and want to do on our shra. Say your moon detail. Inti no cry a clear factor trese Ura Kenufuriate Chantro. This time no wedding. 2. You see, you go back to history. In fact, the current finance minister, he ran to force him. You were Ghana, face the rigors of the law to come out clean. This should start in November 2017. Yoku for Pikeno. The man came out clean. Yante once over 6 years. Yes, wakoka 11 once. After that comment, Nana, Yoku started say almost tatano. But the man faced the rigors. No, he is the finance minister. In fact, he is one of the best finance ministers Ghana. And don't the type of party I end this year. 2. Say be na yen nuanum mi no mo nye privy to information. Say nam tamako. Eji ankasa babontia beka say Oma complete ne extraditional, she will come and serve her jail term. That alone shows the type of party and this year. Yanka say mundi pao, muna mujelino, baya so we are bringing you the extradition procedure now. Ejamaya tells completed NTBR Obeba. Then we talk about a former, we see, as someone making a revolver about finance. A former deputy finance minister, Afenyo-Markin, Victor Salome. So, okay, it's our history now. Kufo ba ya omudi serious offense fraud office as he say yoku etata no. Owura no yare o. Okokota no nume duro. Or that prison na near the oxygen since who so wo prison. E won sa woni. A many so ye no part ni Jan say massa say why ya ade na ye boni a face the rigors of the law.
Ba mo kasa say na so mo kasa na.
But difference a woman say one nipa na ye boni na enam me say enam Kenuforiu atasunti MPP vote na omanya bebebe no. Now it is pointed to him because it got to a time onani go for say na on board turning he was very incompetent in the changing what happened. And owura we time no free Ghana trauma chief of staff say ne ho dodo no or kwa akosa ne ho yare aba o yusu B1 B2 visa okodu ho no no o ma kutru ni o ma egu krata aso no lawyer o mu fere ade o mu ni same o ma kutru ni o ma egu krata aso say yen change ne residential status o pe green card no wa ye permanent member unim de nti o yes ano on person be ba Ghana kra bim owura we etubon a bon kesiye pa ye national cathedral bon $97 million or say my ye me na me ye
na mo so moto
me bagana
afede am so mo twen for
SML PDS ni na bon or say me we ye me de me bagana bim and yes ye tena ho no mo sa akwa eji amaya ti ase say or reporting in my embassy taking on in revoke ne visa did ya actually say ne time I the man say ombra Ghana na I lapse it will show determination say me we me den mabokro no anasa me mbokro no me mba Ghana be face law bia. This is the type of person we are talking about.
run na me anka by this time his excellency president Akufo-Addo wo de wo ka said nam tamakru we aye his excellency president Akufo-Addo ne nephew no ne wo fa ase no nti anka ye obi anka obetu ne fo say onua ebusuadin no ye bo ho ban kakra na aka ne ye bo ho ban ni so unim say wa ye bo ne wo de bra na ye mfa ho konsenie ni na ye mambra ne wundi so come out cleaner no be wo check by this time ka brass band digina Kodoka International Airport aye twen ye wura say obeba na obedi nkunim adenti na otete adenti na odwane na nkenye fere say obi a so okosa ayaresa na okoja ayaresa na waba afa de odu ho no ma say yensa wo mba kra bi tenisi we create a precedent be say obi di boni no nya officer onwane. We don't do that in the country. And MPP for me too mofo ade we mo kra po na ebeboa mo se mo beba mo man aba na wa begina court because a big campaign message etiamu in 2028. Hey, na mo finance minister abokro no na se mo fa ne mba ye na yensa mbeto abama mo na mo wi amasa abokro na mama na dwane da bi
mama na se na
me di manusi se di nam de minia extradition process na complete e dia wonya wo age na nkasa say ye de neighbor no be face in Jeutem. This is the type of party we are talking about. Yes, so boneso. We are very different from the NPP.
Samuel Supremo Mensa. Ne de no ya be sorry ya be kwati time na ka menye sure say benya time a hwejo mama first time next week ya team we ya be samba na ya kasa fanti a minute ni enwe ne nko keske.
Also your cap president na say bibia esida awuya. The president be STA. There is kasa John STA. Anamebo. It took us a president president. And ebio no extradition and then ho ne mani na they are instruments of law. What does it say? Abain e wo ho no mo a. It is not the business of MPP. So obi visa, obi extradition. MPP didn't let us extradite to be. Can MPP do that? Exactly. That is why you want AG. That's what I'm trying to say. And yet, once they operate within the ambit of the law, meaning what's it? The big what I say. But the parents who are or they are some to so the parents who have every right within the law to fight the law. So why do we keep creating an impression? Say, Nipano Momo use and Makwanso to defend himself. Nipano my one. Because Abraham said, Nam Ekoyano. I'm not John Mahama, the then leader of NDC. One can say number. I don't know opposition. I don't want to say. So Obia Okasa and MPP, the person is just simply not being truthful to the issues. MPP has nothing to do on Kenofrata. So I are dibina enya. And you are buying Ghana and then Kenofrata enya. So go on. News MPP in sorry so Kenofrata enya bone why say. Obia so can say Emra when I'm running in. But what I'm saying is, within the ambit of the law, no, he has every right to also defend himself.
Okay.
And if you on the last I didn't say. Also, Supreme so na ye said the name extra. What can see ye na ye fa ne maya. Ye hu hwe o. Abra mu hwe eye Kenofrata de no. Mo hu be person abon say e dey atcho to we mu say o mo extradite Kenofrata. Wa said them the one
but we started process na Godfrey Aboadame.
I think he started. Minim the full facts, but that's what I said. I think
because time and sentence by now I wonder say man starts so much the name.
Yeah, but that's why I said I think, but I don't have the facts of it. But the point I mean making is say if say we are so poised, say person strategy obi a investigating na. They investigating we are oye ye hu ni pa de. On quoi say because extradition papers be aba. Based on supreme logic.
Ma
so where me ba ma ba. Ye party na bentibra. Say them Maya, you lack every moral right. To talking about Kenofrata.
Kwajo Asantin so Emre Mopen.
Sir, in fact, politicians know. They always exploit the law to suit themselves. One major problem I war in democracy was that the law, the way it's dealing with citizens and the way it's dealing with politicians are different.
Politicians are citizens.
Oh yes, but who's super citizens? The way the law deals with them. I think that MYN as a country, Mama ye who saying it here, we are all abiding by the law and living under the same constitution from it's not about me saying no. Me submission is not based on the law. Say morality say there be issue of morality. The man was your finance minister. Well, you're charging national service fee. Yeah, got you. No, Nia. So no, gifty. But mobile. And they came. Also mobile. No. Try and but whether the law will find them guilty or otherwise, and no the try court. I wanted Oforiata to do the same. Mena me woho, and I even menya she cry my fans be paper and bone mu and I'm work green card. Near bomb me do say yes where we are Ghana. Hey, come the green card crowd because I'll come and defend myself. Okay. The dignity. Why you choose a gift and I be the friends home. Order me. Exactly. And you send me paper. That is exactly what I'm saying. And you know, I was saying, no, me the American for buying me for the sake of your part, urge him. And the wound me question is okay. But urge him to come. So that he exonerate himself and that of the party.
Mr. Kwajo Asante, lecturer, Amstead, Supremo, Kakrabini.
Nankenya DN I remusemo. Nda olabuni. Come. Nankenya asemo. Then I would just come away. Man never mouth now. That means there is something. You see. Me catch them PP for say 2028 say Ken Oforiata behave sad way a big campaign message tio me catch them and at the end of the day Saturday they catch you two for muntio na me dem anu see you see so what corruption in sense ma ye kan ho asemi ye buy 1 year ye nti bibia sa o anano no anka nyoma bebre CD cost dollar ba from petrol prices from BBA inflation from debt to GDP 61%, 45 above from unemployment rate 14.7%, above from 13 and going down. Yes. Ebiana wunim. We see be our economics be besides our question. You are making a lame argument. At the end of the day, no. Ye dream die ne kankan ankofo we be ja honom na ye bo oman no ban bena no na ye nsan so de nyoma tutu akwemu a ebeboa ma bibia ye kama medi manusi no me mfa nti akese so nkoma the fantastic Ashanti regional minister me nua tia se na me nua me minim nkoma wadi ne wo bebi bebre masa obo adwuma ekom widiem owura franka mo akohine bo adwuma ni na me mfa nti akese nkoma no na me ntia party panyini bia bi nkoma Kumasi mayor anka munya asankofo we mu time anka Kumasi say na beye ye wa hanum na Ashanti regional minister bi baaye mu am party nkofo o kan say mufia nkona me pese me ne mbekasa. This is the type of people we are talking about. Yam bo mabaso na yam fa mining kodu de bia de be hia say o mining preparation de be fa ade ba ko abesre o mayor and the regional minister management of traffic inquiries. It's becoming a nice so it's becoming a nice the whole management of the city. Yes. I'll say really okay. The traffic lights where they are positioned and doors will close. Okay. Apart from the level of traffic jams. So any other no. I'm saying about also here. Since you are so fear for honey do create because Mr. Kwajo Asante lecturer Amstead. No payana na se papa appreciating the time papa Keskin Dr. Keskin Usupoku communication team member New Patriotic Party ono kra won kan kire me ne kwan se me meka Supremo Mensa communication team member National Democratic Congress oba as a youth organizer NDC so be nomination Keskin as a communication director ama MPP Abusua meba ma memo wetew na afa yemra na yento aso Dr. Amuzu aso ye na ye kono nya akwa abro no ma papa bi atena se ne ma stretch me na ko school papa ni nyina aka ho na eso ma nya ne say na ne tirima inde do ba bi a
no mian kakra ha masa no mate oje jom so ano miom kakra nya ko na tisen
adumo ye kodi bronya bae na wode me sha afia
ai se me miao kakra
I am anti wu mia
ai
mizume mia baby o
ya muzu
okay se be matiase ane be ma enwu eno ne ye nchia anope ye mamu nyina afisia pa visa Osempakani afenam ne ne hia fi mu na ye de Dr. Amuzu Nkomo ene eba je Dr. Amuzu nambe na ya wone ne nkasa mfo apomuden ho sa afi mu no entoto apomuden asekora number ni ye 05 anasa 0247 776743 0247 776743 eno eye Dr. Amuzu ne contact ena media ma wono na owotafo nhyiaye so anope na apesa wokọ ho a doctor wo ho ya wo ne obebon komo one on one wodi mfidie be hyew woni padua mu sade niema bi atochema afa na wonfo wani hu nsunsunsu anso bone na wu hu no wokọ tafo nhyiaye so a wo ya afra komoro market na hwa na Dr. Amuzu owo na ne ye hwe painful urination me betwe mu se eye dwonso ya yaw obo honum a dwonso a wo dwonso problems a wo nya no enya asem ketua se wo yi oba na duru se wo kodwonso a na ato dadwene wo ye bema eduru se wo kodwonso a na ato dadwene dwonso ya yaw ya wo namu no Dr. Amuzu wa duro bia wa wona ti kwade aba montene so na sadro no eye painful urination eye dwonso mu hawo dwonso yaw mu wo prostate yaw mu a ede wonam dwonso ya ye ma me pa chewe wo hia saa aduro ni bi ebi ana wankasa wo experience saa symptoms no nanso so wonnim de ha wo pesa wo ye hwa bratafo nhyae so ne wo ba se doctor munya me scan monhwe de enti a me kodwonso a minya saa problem no na etoda saa dwonso ya no ebeba na eye dwonso mu ha bi a kan say UTI no urinary tract infections UTI etoda se saa problem no wunya bia afa wu kodwonso se wo ye oba se wo ye bema wo beti pains pa both our black mamba no nemu yo ya bema kodwonso akra ye se me dwonso abawo okoya ote wanko na wona wa pente ni wini ni nuti wa pente ko wiem se ase ye so na duro se wo ye bema na akodwonso na wuti pains wo bula matari ni mu dia wo hia aduro bi ye fe no Amuzu P heba mixture kana mintie Amuzu P heba mixture aduro na me bodin se si ane de say a herbal shop and a woko, say a pharmacy or say a chemical shop or baby abeko bia Amuzu P no e biwo obu wa na ne de ne so eye STI makacho say when we bi kodi akatima kapen agoro e wo mpaso anadwe ne se wo moa wa bia wodi sa moa wa ne mawa eno no obenya STI no ye infections it infections ni bi wo no mo a ne ha wo bia di ba ne se wo dwonso a wo yo ba wo beti se wo ba mu hyehyew wo ye ba man so a wo beti se wo black mamba no ne mu ye wo japa ne mu dwaw ne mu hyehyew painful urination no wo bi won so wanya kidney stones kidney no how bia ba ho wo bo se wo kodwonso a wo benya sa symptoms prostate issues ye mema mama mo hunu se wu nyine no na wo prostate no enlarge na grow enti afa be kwa koduru baabi no na afa de ama wo kodwonso abete se wo be mani mu hyehyew obo wani de ne graduate ko nanimu a afa obo se dwonso ne kan na dwonso no se ba se tatatata dwonso ayen frɛ no na ese no ho enti eba sa ye de rubber ekoto ne be ma no mu enti se wo ye be ma na wo so prostate issues bia anu de anka faka na bratafo nhyiaye so ya wo machine bi wo ho aye de hwɛ mema mo prostate ne nko a ye mo scan ya wo bi a wo ye specialist a wo hwɛ sa machine so a wo timi di dwuma obekire wo mu kama na doctor wo prostate aduro bi a any German so yeah no ba o de beka pii ne ho ama wo ma wakọ akonom ayi sa problem no e de afiri wo we bi bisa say anti-side painful urination no esan na se me ne oba bi kohia se e depende se bia eye dwonso mu hawa keke se UTI ni bi dwonso mu problem ni bi na wanya de a wontimi fansa wo bi bra wo ne no ehia na nemom ekobasa eye infection STI and ya woni nipa ni hia no wonya sa infection na okodwonso obeti pain e woni bemem edro tata share Dr. Abusua je ya etu namu yade te se gonorrhea syphilis candida ma se ye bacteria bi bacteria vaginosis bi na sa yade no ababeja wo bebo wa oni atenka ba ku sei e wo mpa so wa mu na edura na jo mani hirete se jare bob no otim mpam he ni kunu wase obra kofi de beto so ho ba na akọ enkasa ankyere wu kunu da e wose wo ye active wo mpam e wose wadwama no komoa no ekeka ne ho na hwebe ma bi so on ma de achi jajajajajai na wadende wa yiyiri se ya ase kokonta ya hata esu oduru mpa so wo mmobọ papa won susu se ye gonorrhea ena ama watenka akọ from eye syphilis ena ama se de wuni atenka se no oba behia mu a amuzupia heba mesha no ne adura mekanfo ama wo mepa choko heba shop amuzupi wo ho adura na hu green no kakra kabio besi wuyi 50 cedis abejinsesa pebinom na emwa wo fra 0247 776743 me say save number no 0247776743 no ye Dr. Amuzu Japanese engineer ne number ena me dia ma wo ya wo yen Amuzu garlic bitters nso wo ho na garlic ne die ya ma amenu mu a omu si metu aso twetweme eno ye se friend sciatica obo wa ne to ase twetwe no ama wotena se ye problem oda ye problem adura beboa wo ye Amuzu garlic bitters garlic adura tatashe adura garlic wom prekese wom wo ye di akakadura ka ho na dudo prekopa wo no mo ema wanum ye hwam because a detoxify body no efi bia woni padua ni mu no aye tanka se pam no de wo tiri mu ma akasa gu nipa so na nipa adwane ni nyina ebefiri ho Amuzu garlic bitters no etimi diabetes obi ohonum a esichire na eha no na wose wo jonso too much on tiate nkanka ne bra wo koda no sa we yo ba we ye bema wo koda jonso how wotimi jonso ne distract wo na ka ho pe Amuzu garlic bitters ni bi nanom garlic aduro tata hwe no a eti wo sugar so eti cholesterol so afenso esan eti wo pressure so ekuta allicin ni selenium na eboa sade beya bema ya wa bo de bridge wo mpaso no moja ni be furafa wo bema ne ho sade beya betimi arenchen e wo mpem na selenium na ebeti wo pressure so no watimi ahye wo banyi nsen eboa emma me etu ye kosua wonamu etwe anase wawo mu twetwe basa wonum Amuzu garlic bitters no afi na abetu kosua ni ye nti wo betimi achebo no simple kra for Dr. Amuzu eye 0247 776743 0247 776743 ya watafo inshaye so Amuzu Junction obia se bema tiase ne bema nwu ka ho bra na onsu beji adukrojen
nya akoma me na se papa nya akwa abro no ma eno no na me kai wo se yeah sorry so masem juma die na eba ma gift ni abedwafo na ekrado Abusua fa chem Nyankopon adoma akinam de be hyema ma course no na wafre na ne ka mu nyina wo de aba na nyim megidi ye sa wo de achem aseda ye wo de a ma me na wase sa wo tai achi ne de dwumadie na aba na wie ye ye na nka wanti a enka ya bragu kwa tabasho Oscar Edututu Alberta Kwatma JP Pra Promise Akwasi awia kwabena antwi Joseph Kofi Mensa dodo na afre no DJ Legacy When it to my bomb, my chidom, and no pay me at the Jumadi and a brow. No, may yes, Medea Menezia, Jonah, to me, Afenyo Osempakani, Uncle Pad, my channel, Pebesantia. Show who suye na crow, oh, here, Magana, papa. Vititania, Family, Uncle Poyad, my chin, Bishia, bye bye. Mewo, Jerry, Yotana, Wanna come, Mogopado.